Inspirational Creatives, episode 208. Welcome to Inspirational Creatives. I'm your host, Rob Lawrence. Join me every Friday as I chat with successful artists, producers, and creative entrepreneurs who share powerful stories and strategies. They can help you to create the life that you want. Listen each week as these inspirational creatives show you how to take your creativity to the next level. You'll learn how to create a sustainable business that inspires others and gives you the financial freedom and lifestyle that you want. Thanks for listening. Make sure you sign up at inspirationalcreatives.com to get free exclusive bonus material. And now, on with the show. Rob here, and a very warm welcome to 30 days of daily inspiration on the Inspirational Creatives podcast. Each day for the next 30 days, I'll be sharing with you an idea, a piece of inspiration, an action, a piece of wisdom that I feel will help you to take your life and creativity to the next level. Today is Saturday and episode 208, and in the next few minutes I'd like to share with you what I've learned over the past 3 years and 200 episodes of Inspirational Creatives about planning with the end in mind. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned over the past 2 years is this. There are actually 2 levels to planning when it comes to living a creative life. First, there's everyday planning, creating goals and objectives towards specific creative aims. And second, there's legacy planning. What is going to be your legacy and what are you choosing to leave behind? For me, this is a fascinating subject because the more I learn about it, the more I realise there is to it. To keep this episode short, I don't wish to impart with you great detail with you here, so I'd like to offer you some bite-sized chunks to give you a few things to think about, and then I suggest you follow your curiosity. So in the first instance, one of the biggest lessons I've learned in the past 3 years when working with others towards realising our big dreams and goals is that it's really helpful to have some kind of plan in place, particularly when things get moving and complicated, which they almost certainly will. But it helps to keep the end in mind. Often problems will come up and you'll want to make sure that the problems you are solving on a daily basis are the right problems to be solving. It's too easy to be thinking that the problem you are solving is directly related to your bigger aims and goals when it is not. And what I mean here is that it's actually really easy to get off track. So it's important to come back to a plan to remind yourself what you ideally need to be doing and by when, and we call these milestones, so we know when we are on or indeed off track. Another benefit of beginning with the end in mind is that you will keep motivated throughout the course of your creative project. Being clear about what the benefits are and perhaps more importantly who you are serving will greatly help your energy levels when the going gets tough, which with some creative projects is inevitable. Charlie Gilkey taught me more about this way back in episode 24 when he shared with me the truth about strategic planning and why it gets so tough for creative people.
Because you have to give something up. That's the core thing. When you do strategic planning right, you look at a board and you say, there are all these things I might do, but I only have time, space, and attention for a small number of them. And you have to let go of some of those things. You either have to say no or not now. And that is why it's so hard.
Charlie's advice has stuck with me ever since. When I work with creative people today, an approach I highly encourage is to begin with the end in mind. Say we're working on a music album together, for example. I ask, how do you want your listener to feel? We start compiling the track names, the song ideas, and of course the songs and the artwork in the very first instance. This is great for motivation, but it also helps us to start asking the important questions that form critical decisions on a project. Equally, when I'm helping someone to create a podcast series, I ask, what is it you want your listener to feel or achieve or experience? Do you want to educate or entertain them? And how are they going to flow and move through that experience? What's the format and frequency, and how many episodes are you going to have in the series? What's the theme of the series? When it comes to our own lives and planning towards our big ideas and dreams, the process is no different. This is why vision boards and journals are so important, because it helps us to visualise the end in mind and picture what the future looks like. So we're clear about our purpose and what our aims are today. From there, we can start to work backwards, breaking the process down into smaller and smaller chunks and steps so that we can find the very first one. So what's the end you've got in mind right now? When it comes to our own life and creative projects, it's important to consider what we want to leave behind. What difference do we want to make to those that we care about today? Later in this series of Daily Inspiration, we're going to discuss another aspect of beginning with the end in mind, and that's leaving a legacy. And these days, that can be a digital legacy. What are you choosing to leave behind, and how are you planning for that? It's a subject I see a lot of us avoid because many people find it awkward to talk about their own death, and they don't want to do legacy planning, understandably. But it's vitally important if you want to leave behind a meaningful body of work and a clean legacy. So until then, I'd love to know your thoughts on today's inspiration, so drop me an email at rob@inspirationalcreatives.com, and I look forward to catching up with you again tomorrow for another day of daily inspiration. Thanks for listening. Nothing beats the stories and advice of an expert to help you raise your creative game. I would love to know what you thought about today's episode, so don't forget to subscribe in iTunes, where you can rate and review the show. If you like this episode, I invite you to share it on Facebook or Twitter with the one person you know who will benefit from the wisdom shared here today. You can find the show notes on inspirationalcreatives.com/podcast. If you have a burning question or a great idea for a guest, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com/contact, where you can connect with me there.